Jesus. No offense, friend, but you're as green as grass. You can't just...
Crane will manage. He'll start in the right spot. And Lena's right, you need to be here taking care of the towers, convincing them the world's not over yet.
Oh, hell. Maybe one more try before we go to Rice. Yeah, okay, fine.
Alrighty. Ah, that's disgusting. Never drink a warm Shasta twist. Alrighty, let's go. Dying Light is a first-person action-adventure survival horror game. Think Dead Island, but better. Dying Light was released January 2015. The game was developed by Techland and published by Warner Brothers Interactive. Developed by Techland, published by Warner Brothers. In Dying Light, you play as GRE agent named Kyle Crane. At first, he's dropped into Haran after a zombie outbreak to get a hold of some information for his agency. He's asked to blend in with the locals, but he eventually finds himself actually aligned with these people. Sooner rather than later, he finds himself leading the charge against both his employers, the GRE, and a man named Rice, who basically built his own private militia in the midst of all this zombie chaos. Now, there's a little bit of a backstory here. Back in 2014, the end of 2014, I was jobless. My life sucked ass. But I eventually found some steady work at Oakley, which is a couple miles from where I live. And I found steady work there for a little while, and I made some decent money. And one night, I was out with my best friend and my brother. I don't know what we were doing, but we somehow ended up at a Wendy's, and it was late. And we talked about a bunch of bullshit, as usual. When we eventually got to talking about video games, and my brother happened to say just enough right things about Dying Light. So that same night, I drove us to Walmart, which was open at the time. It was like midnight. And at the time, Walmart was still 24 hours. And I remember, like, talking about squirting for some reason. I don't know why I randomly remember that. And some old lady in a mechanized, like, wheelchair came up, like, to the game station, opened it, and then pulled it out. I don't know why she was in a mechanized wheelchair. Seems unnecessary. If she was able to get up and take out the game and then walk to the cashier register and then get back in, I don't know. Anyways, that's my experience with Dying Light, or how it started at least, and I've enjoyed it ever since. So the score I'm giving Dying Light is an 8 out of 10. So let's get into the reasons why.
Oh, you bastards! Why are you torturing me like this? Why?
Zombies go in and out of fashion a lot. At one point, the market was just oversaturated with them, with dumb books like Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, or something like that. Overrated TV shows like The Walking Dead, or that dumb movie where I think some kid falls in love with a zombie, or some stupid shit like that. I don't know what it's called. Zombie Heart, I Heart. I don't know what it's called. But once in a while, you find a gem, and most of them are the ones that make zombies either extremely terrifying or the entire concept super fun. For example, one of the best zombie movies of all time is 28 Days Later. And that's because the zombies in that movie they're just fucking terrifying. Fucking, not even, I can't even say CK. I'm using double G's. Fucking terrifying. Zombies, running at you at full speed, fuck that. I'd sooner just lather myself in barbecue sauce and just lay down in the middle of the street, than try to outrun it. There's no way I'm outrunning those guys. On the other hand, the Dead Rising series saw a lot of success in its early days because it was just a lot of fun to just fuck around in a mall and kill hordes of zombies. I feel like Dying Light is one of those rarities, being a mixture of both terrifying and fun, and still being really good. Beating zombies with pipes and slicing and dicing them with katanas is a lot of fun. It's mindless fun. Um, then you can also, craft like electric hammers and shit to make it a little more ridiculous and a little more fun. But there's also another side of the game, and that's nighttime. The game has a day and night cycle, and at night the game really transforms into a whole new beast. During the day, zombies limp towards you, and you can just jump over them, run past them. You avoid them with ease. But at night, there are these monsters called volatiles. These fuckers are stronger and faster than your ordinary zombie. Once they see you, they are relentless. And guess what? They're tough to take down with UV light being their only weakness. And it's usually never just one either. When they see you, they screech and call the others. So if one is hard to take down, just imagine like four of them. So, you put it all together, you just get some really fun zombie killing gameplay and some terrifying and suspenseful chase sequences when, you're the prey.
Oh, you bastards! Why are you torturing me like this? Why?
You play as Kyle Crane, an agent of the global relief effort whose mission is to retrieve a document that has information regarding the virus outbreak in Haran. So you're dropped into Haran and you're forced to go undercover to find those necessary documents. Over time, though, Crane starts to empathize with the survivors he's embedded himself with. They saved him, so he's like, oh, maybe they're not so bad. And then he sees them struggling, and it's like, okay, well, I have to help these guys now for real, not just for undercover purposes. And just some games, like the Far Cry series, and a few of the Call of Duties, I think some of the few early Call of Duties, they tend to have silent protagonists, and the idea in having a silent protagonist and where the player you are playing as is completely silent is that you put your own personality on the silent protagonist. It's supposed to help the immersion process. Dying Light gave Kyle Crane a personality, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good one. It's very much a compromise between a silent protagonist and just a full-blown, defined character like, Joel from The Last of Us or John Marston from Red Dead Redemption or something like that. Even though the character of Kyle Crane is pretty limited in terms of definition and character, he's really relatable. The things he says are usually very objective, so the player usually has no choice to agree. We need to do A, B, and C, and then we will do A, B, C by doing 1, 2, 3. It's like, yeah, clearly I agree with that. But the voice acting is really good, actually, and it comes off so naturally that I couldn't help but like him. Sometimes he'll add a few lines of dialogue that were witty or sarcastic to add a little color, a little flair, and they usually work. For example, towards the end of the game, the villain is given his big ending monologue, and Crane just simply goes something like, "Oh, would you just shut up already? Your voice is the last thing I want to hear." He says something like that, and it really, it actually made me laugh like the third time I played through that part. He has just enough lines to not make him annoying, and not so many lines that it's still immersive. If that makes any sense. He really is an in between. He also has just the right amount of humor, so it makes him likable, but not so much humor where he's just a cocky asshole.
Oh, you bastards! Why are you torturing me like this? Why?
Dying Light was one of my first games of this generation that was just really easy to jump into. The premise and controls are simple enough that you don't need to watch a million cutscenes to know what's going on, or play through a bunch of tutorials to re-familiarize yourself with the controls. I'm bored, pop in Dying Light. A friend wants to have a chat on the phone or on PSN, Dying Light. Don't feel like thinking, Dying Light. I praised Batman the Telltale series Season 1 for being accessible. And, once you get past a few story missions and you're just free roaming in this game, Dying Light is also pretty accessible. It's nowhere near as simple as a point and click game, but it's still something very simple to just jump into whenever you feel like it. On top of that, the developers have given players more incentives to come back with cooperative modes, uh, um, a PvP, I think this is PvP multiplayer mode, and with DLC. The upsides to co-op mode are self-explanatory. I had a lot of fun with my brother and my friend in Dying Light. It's also great that you can both progress the story together. In terms of a downside, I don't really see any. I never really have any connection issues, so that was all pretty good. There's also PvP, or multiplayer, involved. When I first got this game, there was a mode that allowed you to be a zombie, and it allowed you, in this mode, you could invade other players' games so long as they were connected to the internet, and if they chose to. Which is, a nice change of pace. You get to play as a zombie. I also got an email from the game saying that they were going to introduce a Battle Royale mode. I haven't touched the game since I played it for this review, and I got that email a little bit after I played this game for the review. So I don't know. Oh, God. A little bit of throw up came up. So I don't know if it's live yet. But I will go back to see, to test it and see how it goes. On top of all this, DLC is still rolling out. Like I said, I got an email even after playing this for the review a couple months ago. DLC is still being rolled out and planned at the time of recording, which is pretty incredible considering the age of the recording. Or not the recording, sorry, the age of the game. Some of it is free, some of it is paid, some of it is merely cosmetic, some other DLC added new challenges. The most prominent DLC is actually The Following, which is a story expansion and a mini sequel. The Following is basically Dying Light 1.5. It adds a pretty nice conclusion to Crane's journey in Haran, and a completely new map with its own set of missions, side missions, and challenges. And as of now, the vanilla copy of Dying Light, the one that I own, has been completely phased out, if I'm not mistaken, in favor of Dying Light, The Following, which includes the base game and The Following expansion. So, for those of you that have yet to pick up the game, you can now just get it at, you can get it in one nice little package. Dying Light is one of the greatest zombie killing games of all time. While the story leaves something to be desired, and the characters besides Kyle Crane are kind of dull, the experience itself is phenomenal. Killing zombies however you want and doing so up close and personal is extremely gratifying. Parkour gives the game a nice way of moving throughout the world. If you don't feel like fighting your way, block after block, you can just climb buildings and traverse by rooftops. The two maps also give some variety in letting you choose where you want to throw down with zombies, basically, on a bridge, in the fields, in a tunnel, in the shantytown, in the city. Where you want to fight zombies, it's up to you. Simply put, honestly, this game is just a lot of fun. So for me, Dying Light gets an 8.
Great, fantastic.
Out of 10.
Oh shit, what the hell?
I knew you could not resist, Crane.
Oh, would you just shut up? You're the last thing I want to hear.
What? Hear me? What a brilliant idea.